Why does it feel so good to open a Blitz box of Guilty Gear? Let's get into it. I'm Brett with Universus, bringing you theories, news, or more, win, lose, or draw. So, the Guilty Gear Strive Blitz box has dropped, and the biggest thing I've heard from unanimously players is this box hits different. It's a bit weird because essentially we're just seeing half a booster box. We're seeing 12 cards, so it should feel that way, right? It should feel half as exciting. It should feel 50% of everything because we're seeing 50% of the cards. But it doesn't feel that way. I personally opened a Guilty Gear Strive Blitz box that had two alt art characters, an alt art SR, and an alt art blood sucking universe UR. That is an insane box. That means almost a third of my box was alt art cards. The pull rates are absolutely insane, and this isn't the first time This isn't the first time that the game has had smaller sets. Prior to MHA1, the game was kind of primarily smaller sets. We didn't have the 200 plus sets in the past. I wasn't part of the game then. They didn't have the 200 plus card sets. They had 120. Yu Hakusho, the original Ghost Files kind of booster box, was in its 80s. It's what I used to compare against Guilty Gear when I talk about this in Discord and to other people. And yet, the way it felt to pull those cards was different. If I bought a case of Yu Hakusho, I wasn't even guaranteed to get every single character, never mind essentially a playset of every single card. The pull rates just hit different. Getting a character in every single pack was an absolute huge improvement to this game when we got Undaunted Raid. The fact that we have higher rarities now with secret rares, the fact that we get alt art characters outside of pre-releases and promos, like with the Botans, from the original U, all change the way that we interpret pulling cards. The fact that we're seeing ultra rares every 3 packs, the fact that we're seeing alt arts every 6 packs, the fact that we're seeing a guaranteed, the fact we're seeing an SR in double boxes. You buy a case of 12 Guilty Gear boxes and you walk away with 9 ultra rares, including alt arts, is nuts. People are able to complete collections from a single case. People are able to have master sets. The only thing they're hunting is chromes and bling bits to get their alternate arts, to get these cool dual chromatic alternate art ultra rares, or these alternate art URs, or these alternate art cards like the Loop Loop, which is a bear, or the Tricky Spinner, which is Bridget from a different angle. There's so many different levels to the game now than in Yu Hakusho that when you opened a case of Yu Hakusho, you saw a lot of the same. In Guilty Gear, you can see the same card. You can pull a loop, but because it's an alt art, it hits different. Because you see more alt arts, because you see more URs, because you see more SRs, because you see the dopamine hits harder, and it feels so good to do it. I've still got 3 boxes left to open, and I already have a master set of the set. I have got pretty much a play set of everything. My Megalomanias, however, are 3 alt arts and 1 regular, which is a bit weird. But this is what players have said they want, and I think that factors into why it hits different. I assume that opening a Blitz box would feel half as exciting because we were seeing half the amount of cards. I forgot to take into account that it's half the size of a regular set. The Blitz box is 80 odd cards, which is about half of what we saw in TMNT, and is a lot smaller than we've seen in the past with things like the 200 plus Critical Role or the 300 plus Attack on Titan Battle for Humanity. So where Battle for Humanity felt bad because you opened a case and you felt like you didn't make a dent into what you need to collect. I opened 2 cases of Battle for Humanity and still felt like I hadn't pulled enough. Guilty Gear Strive I've opened a case, and like I said, I've got 3 boxes left, and I have no urgency to open those boxes. I want to because the hits and the way it felt pulling those packs was so good. But at the same time, I don't need more for my collection. And that's where kind of the downside comes in. I have no cards to hunt. I have no need for the secondary market outside of alt arts. And that may affect the secondary market. Now, UVS should not be taking into account the secondary market when they print these cards. It's it down that slope madness, down that road madness lies. UVS should be giving us the best player experience, and that is what Guilty Gear has done. Guilty Gear has scratched an itch for fighting games, for cool design cards, for shaking up the fundamentals of how the game is played, and for a new experience in cracking packs, as well as a new way for us to showcase to IPs how we handle this game and how we can handle their IPs. This would be a really cool. That would be really cool. That is a really cool idea. But to me, I don't know if this is the right way to go. For the players, yes. For the collectors, maybe. But if you can buy a case and get everything, you don't need anything. So single vending becomes a lot harder. Collecting becomes a lot harder. I don't know. Maybe I'm just chatting on my ass. I know not everybody can afford a case, and maybe it's just a little bit of privilege coming from that, because I could afford a case at the time. No, I can't always afford a case. I didn't get a case of Apocalypse. Honestly, I couldn't afford it after going to the summit. But that's the kind of thing where I'm coming from. Unless you're hunting chromes and playsets of all arts, you don't need more than a singular case. And after seeing, like, with Critical Role, people buying multiple cases, not only did they want the chromes, the arts, they wanted everything. And I haven't seen that drive to purchase Guilty Gear. I've just heard people talking about the pleasure of opening Guilty Gear, if that makes sense. I'm not quite sure if that does make sense, but people are more than happy to talk about how nice it is to open Guilty Gear. What people are great to talk about how cool it is that we're getting all these cards, and how much fun it is opening packs and seeing all these seeing all these URs, having this massive pull rate and having this massive dopamine rush of opening these packs and how great it feels. But I haven't heard anyone talking about purchasing more, chasing chromes, buying multiple cases, buying multiple boxes. I've just kind of heard people do this as a one and done kind of purchase. And to me, that's kind of where the issue is with me and Guilty Gear. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a brilliantly designed set. Outside of, again, my issues with no zero diff foundations, I like my zero diffs, and no deadlock. I really want deadlock. I cannot tell you how much I hate being stuck in a 1 hour game 1, because both players just sat there on infinite foundations, not taking any damage because they're blocking everything. It's interactive, but it isn't fun. So to me, I want to see more ways. I want to see more people driving to open these boxes. I haven't really heard in the last few weeks, after now Guilty Gear's kind of calmed down, anyone talking about their rush to go get more. It's not a Yu Yu Hakusho Dark Tournament or a Critical Role situation where people were buying them up because they needed everything. Now they just kind of got everything. And that's kind of why when I did it, my immediate head went to box battles. A 12-pack sealed for $40 to $50 is a very cool way to show off and advertise these boxes as a kind of 1v1 sealed experience at a wider scale. And I have heard a couple of people saying they want to get more boxes to do box battles, but I haven't seen anyone kind of pull the trigger there. People have got their collections and they're kind of happy. So I'd be very interested to see if and when I get invited to the next summit, what the Guilty Gear sales numbers were. If they had like this massive spike and then kind of leveled off or just dipped after people had got their case and were done. I don't know. I just wanted to talk about it. I started really hype, but I probably shouldn't have dipped as much as I did. But I do love Guilty Gear. This is the product I was the most skeptical of. I wasn't a big fan of Tension going in because it's an abundance of a free resource, but Tension has got some cool implications to the game. I will say I was wrong on that. Tension is worth a lot more than just the free momentum. I will admit to that. Some of the cards are very cool. Some of the cards are going to have a lot more long-lasting meta impacts than I think people know at this time. And I'm very excited to see what people are going to cook with this, as well as the fact we've got characters like May who shake the fundamentals of the game, Bridget who are able to pull off incredibly intricate combo plays, and just very exciting. This is a very well-designed, very powerful set. Possibly my second favourite set of the year. Critical Role will always be my first year. It is the best. But let me know in the comments below. Did you buy multiple boxes? Did you buy your case and end? Are you feeling the itch to buy more? Or did you just enjoy your pulls and then kind of walk away? I'll be very interested to hear the player experience outside of my own kind of niche bubble. This is Brett with Universus, bringing you theories, news and more, win, lose or draw. And I will see you at game night. Bye.